Hello, we're live on Africa's largest television network, the NTA, and this is Nationwide. I'm Rhoda Anonam. Now we begin Nationwide today with legislative matters as the Senate has approved a sum of 234.5 billion naira as our next budget for 2018. Presenting the report at the Senate, Chairman Committee on Appropriation Danjuma Goji explained that 198 billion naira is for the 2019 general elections, while 45.5 billion naira is for annex statutory transfer. The committee said report on the budget of security agencies will be presented in the next legislative day. Meanwhile, the legislators have passed at first reading a bill for an act to repeal and reenact the National Housing Fund Acts of the Federation 2004. A new iron ore deposit for steel production has been discovered in Abuja, Kogi State. The Minister of State, Mines and Steel Development, Abubakar Bawa Buhari, disclosed this in Abuja. Miyogidi tells us more.
Just like many other developing countries, Nigeria is also looking forward to manufacturing our own automobiles and ships. The realization of this, however, depends largely on the availability of steel products, though Nigeria spends $3.5 billion annually in importing steel for our infant industries. Abubakar Bawa Buhari, Minister of State, Mines and Steel Development, was worried by this, so the ministry embarked on engaging local and foreign experts to explore the land with the hope of discovering more solid mineral resources to bridge this steel deficit. Time and resources committed to this project have started paying off as a huge deposit of iron ore for the production of quality steel has been discovered in Abuja, Kogi State, by one of the companies engaged by the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development.
And I'm delighted to say that a couple of weeks ago, our consultants confirmed to us that we can take the iron ore from the Abuja iron ore deposit and we can produce a high-quality cast steel product with low phosphorus and low other elements. It is an internationally recognizable high-quality product.
You intend to go further to ensure that we don't just take these things out, that these things are used domestically. We have no reason to be importing iron or steel products into our country.
This, the minister said, will motivate the federal government to do more. Mie Ogidi, NTA News.
Now, the House of Representatives has resolved that investigations involving both the Army and police in search of missing persons in Plateau State be sustained in order to unravel circumstances leading to such security breach. This followed an amendment to the prayer by Representative Gyang Pwajok in a matter of urgent public importance he tabled before the House, urging that such investigations be restricted to civil authorities like the police and Department of State Services. The House has Thursday's plenary also passed
currencies back to their respective countries, we want Nigerians to come and invest here. So the money stays here.
Senior Special Assistant to the President on Diaspora and Foreign Affairs, Abike Erewa, says the enthusiasm is high among Nigerians in the diaspora as they are eager to help build Nigeria.
They have the skills, they have the expertise, they have the money. So we want to bring Nigerians in the diaspora together in one hall for this Diaspora Investment Summit. We go all over the world seeking investors. Nigerians in the diaspora are the #1 investors in Nigeria. We need to reach out to them.
We are going to regulate the governance so that we can assure the investors, the people that are coming from the diaspora, that whatever they invest in the country is secured.
We have the opportunities that we have identified. We have profiled bankable projects that we can present to the diasporans for them to take advantage of.
The diasporans are also appealing to President Muhammadu Buhari to facilitate the takeoff of the Diaspora Commission, whose bill has already been signed into law. In Abuja, Makut Simon Machan, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Nigeria's continuous effort in peacekeeping within and outside its shores is once again commended by the Minister of State for External Affairs, Mubashir Jawid Akbar, on a lecture he thought geostrategic relationship between Nigeria and India at a Nigerian Army Resource Center in Abuja. Patricia Isamiluba reports that the minister said 100 Nigerian Army personnel will attend training in India on counterinsurgency.
Nigeria and India are both regional powers and shared a similar worldview with regards to security challenges, and both support the idea of reform of global governance and defense cooperation. Guest lecturer, Indian Minister of State for External Affairs, Mubashir Jawid Akbar, who spoke on geostrategic relations between Nigeria and India with defense cooperation as a key pillar, said, strategic security is incomplete without shared responsibility, shared globalization, and shared commitment.
As part of our cooperation, we have offered to train 100 Nigerian Army personnel in counterinsurgency at our counterinsurgency and jungle warfare school in India.
He said the duty of security is to remember the past and understand the present so that the future can be protected.
And I would like to reiterate that we extend our unflinching support to Nigerian armed forces in dealing with this scourge.
The minister was decorated as a fellow of the Nigerian Army Resource Center by the Director General. Some top military officers, ambassadors of both Nigeria and India, also received awards. In Abuja, Patricia Isamiluba, NTA News.
Foreign Affairs Minister Geoffrey Onyema says Nigeria will continue to encourage foreign investors that are willing to contribute to Nigeria's energy solutions. The minister said this while receiving the Secretary General of the Energy Charter Secretariat, Dr. Urban Rushak, who visited him. He said Nigeria is aware of its energy challenges and has continued to pursue policies as well as making investments that are aimed at resolving the energy needs of Nigerians. Energy Charter Secretary Dr. Urban Rushak, who was led by the Director General of the Nigerian Energy Commission, Professor Eli Baba, said the Secretariat is working with countries to ensure that investments in the energy sector are seamless and conform to international standards. He said Nigeria is an observer in the Charter and will become a member when it meets the criteria of the body. Time now for us to join our Lagos Network Centre. Hello, Jennifer. It's good to see you. Sorry. Ingino, okay, I can see you there now. Ingino, it's good to see you. And if you would update us on the Lagos airport lockdown and, of course, the celebration of the girl child. Ingino, it's over to you.
Thank you, Rhoda, for joining us in Lagos. Challenges facing the girl child all over the world, particularly in the developing countries, came under the spotlight today as the world marks the International Day of the Girl Child. In Lagos, the United Nations Information Center, UNIC, provided a platform for the girls to vent their emotions and their views on issues affecting them, with a view to achieving empowerment and fulfillment of their human rights. Jen Ojuku completes the report.
This short documentary titled Tolu, which told a story of how a father almost ruined the psyche of his own daughter, all because she was born a female and not a male as expected, set the tone for the day's discussion. gender inequality and discrimination against the girl child, which have remained a limiting factor to the full realization of the potential of the girl child. The girls raised their concerns.
There's so much inequality among girls. We're made to believe that we're meant to be in the kitchen, we're meant to be in the house.
Being asked not to do a particular career or occupation that they want to do, like I want to be a president, or I want to be an engineer, or I want to be an astronaut, or because they're female.
The International Day of the Girl Child has been celebrated annually since 2012. The enlightenment programs, advocacy and empowerment initiatives engendered by the declaration and its observance, many say, beam a ray of hope.
UNFP, for example, we have a lot of work that we do. In Lagos, for example, we support the Lagos state government to provide adolescent sexual and reproductive health information and services.
To uplift them, to let them realize the importance of their roles in the society.
We need to celebrate the girls because we build the nation. We keep the nation well. If there is not a girl in the nation, the nation can't stand.
But since it is not yet Uhuru, all that the girls are asking for is a level playing ground and equal opportunities so as to increase their contribution to national development. In Lagos, Jane Ojukwu, NTA News.
The Minister of State for External Affairs of India says Nigeria can be greater if she can harness her diversity and make it a tool for progress. The minister stated this at a lecture organized by the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs. Lagos, Ken Egbeluge has the details.
The Minister of State for External Affairs of India, Mombasa Akbar, arriving at the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs in Lagos for the first time since assuming office in 2016. He's a prominent Indian journalist, politician, and writer. His visit to the institute is to show another dimension to the relationship between India and Nigeria. In his lecture titled, India and Nigeria Partners in Progress in Africa and Beyond, he said, India's progress has been in gender equality, pluralism, and ending of corruption. The minister noted that Nigeria, like India, can draw strength from its diversity for its benefit and for the rest of Africa.
You cannot be a modern nation anymore without gender emancipation. And gender emancipation is not only a law in the books. Gender emancipation has to be visibly evident in every home.
Other speakers agree that if Nigeria can harness its diversity, it can be a reference point to the rest of the world.
If you end corruption, there will be more money for social development, and which is what this administration is doing. So therefore, His Excellency's speech does redefine the relationship between Nigeria and India in a new horizon.
Those diversities will actually bring people together in terms of ethnic composition, in terms of religion, in terms of our backgrounds.
India and Nigeria have existing relations in various areas, including agriculture, defense, trade, healthcare, and infrastructure. In Lagos, Ken Egbeluge, NTA News.
The Nigerian Army Band Corps says it will continue to promote the African tradition and identify with it through music. This was the submission of speakers as the officers and men of the Corps gathered at the Corps headquarters in Lagos for their annual conference. Jessica Moses reports.
Since its establishment around 1863, the military band had only entertained the colonial masters and few elites copying the Western style of music. Following the nation's independence, the Army Band adopted the African music style, which is also now being threatened by the contemporary music style, particularly hip-hop. The guest lecturer, Dr. Yemi Bello of the Department of Theatre Art, Lagos State University, in her lecture titled The Military Band and Contemporary Issues in Nigerian Music, stressed the need to sustain African culture in their music.
If the training should continue, it's a thing that will make them to be more relevant in our society. You know, we should not limit their study or their performance to the military zone.
We have come today to discuss how we will improve on our music and make it better for both Nigerian Army and the civilians.
All is towards ensuring that
There's the soft power of the armed forces, meant to project, you understand, the armed forces, whether it's the Army, Navy, or Air Force band. That is the role they actually play.
You should make use of everything you have when you are distributing parts. Don't choose a particular instrument above others.
The conference, which aims to further strengthen and equip the corps for troop entertainment and other non-regimental ceremonies, draws participants from units under the Nigerian Army Band Corps across the country. In Lagos, Jesuton, Moses, NTA News.
These are contributions from Lagos. We now hand over to Kemi in Ibadan for more on Nationwide.
Thank you, Ngino, and a warm welcome to Ibadan. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has once again called on the electorate to collect their permanent voter cards so as to fully participate in the electioneering process. The advice was given at a press briefing organized by the Commission to intimate members of the public about its activities in Oyo State. Correspondent Goke Alomoge has details.
The briefing, which was part of efforts at ensuring transparency and credibility in 2019 general elections, focused on issues of unclaimed PVCs amongst others. The Commission expressed its dissatisfaction about the attitude of electorate towards collection of PVC, stressing that Oyo State already ranks among states with the largest number of unclaimed PVCs. The resident electoral commissioner, Oyo State, Mutiu Agboke, acknowledged the recent receipt of 90,469 PVCs for the first quarter, contributing to a total number of 791,617 unclaimed PVCs in the state.
If anybody knows that he registered in January, if the person registered in February, if the person registered in March, up to the first week in April, their cards are already around.
The Commission further urged members of the public to go to their respective local government and collect their voter cards. In Ibadan, Goke Alomoge, NTA News.
Oyo State Police Commander has paraded an individual impersonating as an operative of a special anti-robbery squad, SAS, with other suspected criminals. Rofia Animashan Badmos tells us more.
The suspects were paraded for various offences, ranging from armed robbery, man arrested for stealing and malicious damage, kidnapping gang arrested with arms and stolen property, driver who absconded with employer's car and goods, and a fraudster impersonating to be a police inspector and operative of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad in the state. Some of the suspects confessed to the crime.
When I got to the spot, I asked him to wait and buy suya for him. Then after eating the suya, I will go and collect VG milk and give him a drink. Then after drinking, he will sleep off. Then I go to his bike.
How long have
Same thing that I'm doing a mark that time by the time me and him meet. So he even believes say I'm still working there. But that time I even tell him say I don't do that work, no if you continue again. So I don't get another work to policeman.
Most of the public have their own role to play, take care of their property, secure themselves. We will secure overall, but they should do some basic protection of what they have.
24 suspects were arrested and exhibits like phones, cutlass, axes were also recovered in Ibadan. Rofia Animashan Badmos, NTA News.
And still on security, commercial motorcycle riders have been advised to be more security conscious, especially at night, so as not to fall victims of armed robbery. Commissioner of Police, Ogun State Commander Ahmed Iliasu gave the advice while parading 3 murder suspects in Abeokuta. Lukman Adefeso's report is here presented.
The long arm of the law caught up with the 20-year-old Toby Kodaolu, who allegedly murdered a commercial motorcyclist named Oni Olajuwon. The suspect, who confessed to the crime, was arrested alongside 2 others at Ake area of Abeokuta. Other suspects who were arrested along with the principal murder suspect denied any involvement in the murder of the motorcyclist. The Commissioner of Police, Ahmed Ilyasu, noted that police, in collaboration with Vigilante Service of Ogun State, traced the deceased motorcycle to the 3 suspects.
They should avoid carrying 2 or more passengers at odd hours, especially in bushy areas, in order to avoid this type of ugly occurrence.
The police commissioner reiterated the command's commitment to zero tolerance to any form of crime and criminalities, while the Operation Arms and Ammunition mop-up in the state continues ahead of the 2019 general elections.
And that's it from Ibadan. Is back to Rhoda in Abuja for more on Nationwide.
Thank you very much, Kemi, there for us from Ibadan Network Center. Now, in other news, G90, an umbrella campaign organization for Professor Jerry Ghana's presidential bid, has rejected the outcome of the Social Democratic Party's presidential primaries election won by former governor of Cross River State, Donald Duke. This was at a media briefing in Abuja. Timothy Yusuf reports.
The G19 is reminding the Social Democratic Party, SDP, of the zoning formula of the party, which stipulates that the presidential candidate should come from the north and national chairman of the party from the south on rotational basis. Director General of the group, Ike Neliaku, explains that the party was reminded about the agreement before the presidential primary election, but was wished away.
Our position is in line with the provisions of the SDP Constitution on the principle of rotation and zoning of offices contained in section 15.3, 1 and 2, SDP Amended Constitution 2018.
In a swift reaction to the briefing, the National Publicity Secretary of the SDP, Alpha Mohammed, says it is an intra-party affair that will soon be resolved. Meanwhile, at the National Secretariat of the People's Democratic Party, members of Cross River State PDP Support Coalition were at the Wadata House to protest against what they described as wrongful exclusion of the party's pioneer National Publicity Secretary, Emmanuel Ibeshi, from participating in the state's governorship primary election, even after being cleared by the screening committee.
We need justice! We need justice!
In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
In its bid to ensure proper accountability and transparency amongst financial officers in the country, the Association of the National Accountants of Nigeria has staged a health walk as part of activities to mark this year's annual conference.
Members of the Association of National Accountants of Nigeria took their time out to walk for 4 kilometers to commemorate the country's exit out of recession.
We're all aware that Nigeria has exited out of transition, and one of the things we achieved, the federal government has also regulated what we call economic recovery growth projects, which is for 2017 and 2020. This has actually helped in stabilizing the economy.
We are particularly moved by the show of solidarity by NTA. They are always behind us. They are always carrying our message across Nigerians.
Director General of Nigerian Television Authority, Malam Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, represented by Director Audit Yusuf Adamu Tafabelewa, said NTA will partner with any association that has support on the transformation agenda of the present administration.
In NTA, we have more than 200 members of ANAN. And there are ways we can benefit.
We hope this partnership will continue so that we can design a program how we can benefit each other.
Association of National Accountants of Nigeria was founded in 1979 to make the profession a premium brand of choice in professional accounting practice in Nigeria and to impart on accounting education and practice in a profound and comprehensive manner. In Abuja, Omenka Marchuku, NTA News.
We'll take a short break now, and when we come back, we have more news. We'll see you in a bit.
Hate speech is not a joke. It incites genocide and crimes against humanity. Most of Africa's civil wars are caused by hate speech from one tribe against another. We don't want it here. The Nigerian government stands firm against hate speech.
Under no conditions whatsoever should we tolerate or excuse or justify hate speech or hateful conduct of any kind, especially where such is illegal.
There's no doubt that the resurgent push for separatism, as well as
the rising cases of ethnic and religious disharmony are all traceable to the growing phenomenon of hate speech.
One nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
Nigeria, one nation, one people.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
For years, the NTA has been promoting science, technology, arts and crafts under the tagged name National Children's Expo. We are set with another edition as we gather children around Nigeria, junior category ages 6 to 12 and senior category ages 13 to 18. The theme for Expo 2018, achieving self-sufficiency in agriculture, meeting the challenges of security and exposition of alternative energy as pathways to national development. Date, October 21st to 25th, 2018. Venue, NTA Headquarters Arena, Area 11, Garki, Abuja. We are set to celebrate the best of innovation across the country. For more information, please call the following numbers. NTA ETV, promoting learning.
The Presidential Initiative on Continuous Audits, Federal Ministry of Finance, announces the verification exercise of the ex-workers of Nigerian Airways Limited in liquidation, scheduled to hold in the following locations. The beneficiaries are expected to come along with the following documents to the center. 1. Letter of appointment, letter of confirmation, letter of last promotion, letter of retirement, NAL identity card, other means of identification, particulars of bank account, letter to be presented by next of kin in the case of deceased beneficiaries. Please note that beneficiaries will be subjected to biometric data capture. Beneficiaries should come along with copies of documents listed above for submission to the verification committee. Beneficiaries are to be captured in an orderly manner, hence, notice will be placed at the venue and specific date for capturing of each beneficiary will be indicated. Signed, MK Dikwa, Secretary, Presidential Initiative on Continuous Audits.
Get your kitchen weapons ready. Get your skills warmed up because in this game, the seasoned warrior wins. Get ready for Northeast Quest 5, the special anniversary season, showing on DSTV Africa Magic Family and GoTV Africa Magic on Sundays at 7 p.m. and 6 p.m. on NTA and AIT. Northeast Quest, Battle of Flavors.
Over the past 12 episodes, we visited some familiar faces and they shared how Airtel touched their lives. But every season brings more and more people that need help. We look back at some of this season's highlights.
Sometimes if I go to school, I don't eat.
At times, I shed tears.
It's something they've been praying that someday, somehow, something good would happen.
Touching lives.
You're welcome back, and if you've just joined us, you're watching Nationwide. A 4-day conference on harmonization of education policies and curricula in West African countries has ended in Abuja with a mandate on government to increase the budgetary allocation to the education sector. The conference, which had education for global relevance, regional integration and competitiveness as its theme, drew participants from the education sector who preferred full implementation of relevant education policies and constant review of curriculum to meet the current pace of national development. The experts call for urgent needs for synergy in the West African region, where healthy competition is necessary to stimulate positive growth in the sector.
We should revise our curriculum in such a way that it meets our needs.
Education has not been given the pride of place that it should have in the national developmental equation. And unfortunately, we have been paying dearly for that.
Countries like South Africa budget 29%. Ghana budgeted 31% for education. Burkina Faso 17%. Egypt 29%. What are we doing? 6.2 or 4%. That's what we budgeted for education this year.
This is the first education conference hosted by the Nigerian Academy of Education in Nigeria. Now to some economic matters. As the World Bank this Thursday launched its first Human Capital Index, a new tool to help countries make investment on their people. Leah Katung-Babatunde in Bali, where it was launched, reports that the president of the World Bank, Jim Young Kim, admitted that the World Bank earlier erred when it encouraged countries like Nigeria to invest in infrastructure rather than on her people.
The new World Bank research gives policymakers compelling evidence that delivering better outcomes in children's health and learning can significantly boost the incomes of people and of countries with returns far into the future. The Human Capital Index, which was launched at the World Bank IMF annual meetings, showed that 56% of children born today across the world will lose more than half their potential lifetime earnings because governments are not currently making effective investments in their people to ensure a healthy, educated and resilient population ready for the workplace of the future.
Let me put it this way. I think that there is that the World Bank has to take some responsibility for having emphasized hard infrastructure, roads, rails, energy for a very long time, and that changed 20 years ago. But there has still been the bias that says, we'll invest in hard infrastructure, and then when we grow rich, we'll have enough money to invest in health and education. We're now saying that that's really the wrong approach, that you've got to start investing in your people right now. We hope that this is a loud wake-up call for leaders throughout the African continent, and especially in Nigeria.
Nigeria ranks 152 out of 157 countries in the Human Capital Index. The World Bank states that policies to build human capital are some of the smartest investments that countries can make to boost long-term, inclusive economic growth. IMF's Christine Lagarde believes that with the right policy mix, inclusive growth can be achieved. She has these words of advice for Nigeria's Finance Minister, Zainab Ahmed.
I'm delighted that Nigeria has appointed yet again a female finance minister. And I welcome the meeting that I will have with her. But if she was to ask me what is our policy recommendation, I would certainly start with a tight monetary policy, higher non-oil revenue mobilization. I remind you, you know that probably inside out, that the domestic revenue mobilization is 5% of GDP in Nigeria, and that is just way too low relative to where Nigeria should be in order to address the issues of health, education, proper social spending on the people, and particularly the young people of Nigeria. And structural reforms that would probably include really making sure that the refineries and the oil equipment that is available in Nigeria works well and works for the benefit of Nigeria.
Madame Lagarde says policymakers must work to ease trade tensions and ensure currency sanitation, but above all, the need for a stronger global approach to inclusive growth is important to fix the general financial system. From Bali, I'm Leah Katung-Babatunde, NTA News.
For an effective implementation of government policies, civil servants must be up to date with the reforms of the present administration. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, stated this at the sent-forth party for the Permanent Secretary, Cabinet Office, Mrs. Georgina Ehuria. The SGF attributed the success and effective running of the office to the hard work and coordinating efficiency of the outgoing Permanent Secretary.
As you assume duty in the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development, the same excellent spirit with which you conducted yourself here, the friendly disposition, the accommodating spirit, and the motherly role that you played working with your staff, I know you will take it along with you. So
I do believe that the same hard work, diligence, and
are still following the new posting and redeployment of some permanent secretaries. A monument with the names of past and present secretaries of the government of the Federation from 1960 to date by a core member, Amber Rosemary, serving in the office of the SGF, was unveiled by Boss Mustafa. Now, for over a month, Dew community in Jos Plateau State has been in the national limelight. Dew is at the heart of a search and rescue efforts to find the whereabouts of the immediate past chief of administration. Army reported missing on his way to Boche since September 3rd. For now, Dew is deserted, but with the Army, it's urging the residents to come back even as the search efforts continue. Hamid Sirogu tells us more.
Lapende is the main town in the Dew district. Collectively, they are a community of over 300,000 people. They are all not here now. They abandoned their houses and their farmlands. Nobody drive them out, but then all of them are out. The people of Dew abandoned home, apparently because of the clue the army is pursuing to unravel the mystery of its missing former head of administration, Major General Idris Al-Kali, retired. This old mining pond is at the center of it all. A special search and rescue task force for the missing general had intelligence report that this particular pond may hold some secret about the missing person. The task force resolved to drain it. The women of Dew mobilized to stop them. On the face of their protest, the women said the pond is their only source of drinking water. As their protest advanced, they attached spiritual relevance to it too. They say the exercise may mean the death of their husbands and their children. Perhaps these fears led the whole community to flee. For the task force move ahead with their plan. So far, the pond is revealing its underbelly. 3 vehicles have so far been exhumed out of it, including the Toyota Corolla of General Al-Kali.
When the vehicle was brought out, with that, the medical were asked to check if his body was there. The people from Nigerian Army engineers also checked. Thereafter, the military police and the intelligence were also asked to check. And in it, they were able to find some of his personal effects, including his T-shirt with his name inscribed, I am Al-Kali. That happened on the 29th of September.
The task force feared that the women of Dew may be protesting actually because they were afraid of what this outcome will bring. Dew generally is a land of over 32 ponds, all water-laden. They were old and abandoned mine sites. Drinking water is definitely not an issue with this community, and certainly they do not rely only on this pond. In actual fact, the task force is urging the people to come back and be peaceful and law-abiding.
I've been appealing to the good and peace-loving people of Plateau to help us with information so that we can locate wherever he is, whether he's alive, so that he can reunite with his family, and if he's dead, they should show us where he is so that we can carry his body for proper and befitting burial in line with timing customs and tradition. And that's why we have been appealing to the people that they have nothing to fear. All they need to do is to support us so that we can round up this exercise quickly.
Apart from vehicles recovered, the search and rescue team say they do not rule out finding human remains too. They are yet to find one though. As they make headway in draining the pond, however, the exercise is halting for now. 2 things are happening. The sand that is an embankment to the pond is caving in, and fear is it may collapse into the pond, and that may mean damage to men, machine, and the investigation. More so, the sand is a thin bridge between this active pond and another like it. If it collapses, the water from this pond will empty at the pond where this exercise is taking place. In Jos, Mohammed Hamish Rogo, NTA News.
The federal government has been urged to implement various research findings articulated by the course participants of the National Defense College in order to solve the security challenges confronting the country. Governor David Umahi of Ebonyi State made the appeal while receiving the 27 course participants of the National Defense College in Abakaliki. Correspondent Kingsley Okoro reports.
Receiving the course participants drawn from 17 countries, Governor Umahi said poor implementation of research findings have made the security challenges bedeviling the country to be lingered. He said his administration has engaged the youth through free education and other extracurricular activities that encourage them to be more responsible and contribute their quota for the nation's development.
We are doing this one to assist the participants, to understand the society, and at the end of the day, where the implementation is where the problem is. So you are coming at a time that we are enforcing our belief in free education, which we are doing. You are coming at a time that we've instituted as one of our policies, moral education. We have coordinators, we have supervisors that go around all the primary schools and secondary schools to inculcate in our youth needed morals and cultural values that Ebonyi State, is known for.
The team leader, Commandant Murtala Bashir, said the purpose of the visit is to know the area Ebonyi State needs assistance and their selling points.
We're here in Ebonyi State on a study tour with the theme Management of the Youth and National Security. We are aware of the projects and initiatives we have placed to empower and mainstream the youth. And we have seen the number of youth that have been given political appointments. I believe that we are doing so much in that regard.
Governor Umahi also received the General Officer commanding 82 Division, Nigerian Army, Major General Emmanuel Kabok, who came on familiarization visit and pledged to give him all the necessary support to enable him to succeed. In Abakaliki, Kingsley Okoro, NTA News.
Now, various factors have been identified as impediments for the girl child in achieving her potentials, a development that guests on Good Morning Nigeria believe can only be addressed if priorities placed on empowerment, mentorship and breaking cultural barriers. Murijanatu Adam Said tells us more.
A girl child in Nigeria has lived in the shadows of her male counterpart with a lot of rights denied. The Child Right Act was supposed to take care of the situation of the girl child, but many states are yet to domesticate it. Guests on Good Morning Nigeria say religious, traditional, and the community must rise up to complement government effort in protecting the right of the girl child.
Except and when the government stands to take some precautive measure to not know that laws in Nigeria, we have stringent laws that obviously, when being put in place, will put most of these defaulters to bar.
We need to work together as stakeholders and ensure that our girls are prepared for the women they will be tomorrow, and not just to be able to read and write and count numbers.
So now we even want to go beyond, just helping them to go back to school, but also to allow them to have skills that are non-gendered.
The discussion suggests that government and relevant agencies should not relent in implementing policies and programs that will address the challenges militating against the progress of the girl child in Nigeria. In Abuja, Murijanatu Adam Said, NTA News.
Nigeria is on the right track towards meeting the target of a zero hunger nation by the end of 2030. This is the view of Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, as Nigeria's performance and initiative of food production is being analyzed at a symposium in Abuja. Musa Babali reports that the symposium is part of activities marking this year's World Food Day.
End hunger by the year 2030 is a global target set aside by the United Nations for member countries with a view to improving food production around the world. Nigeria is among the 70 countries whose performances were analyzed by the United Nations agency.
It is universally acceptable that the right to food is a basic human right. Thus, investing in sustainable food systems and rural development means addressing some of the major challenges, from feeding Nigeria's growing population to protecting the climate, tackling some of the root causes of conflict, migration, and displacement.
The commitment of the federal government, as stated by the Minister of State for Agriculture, Heneki Lokobiri, in food production is not only targeting economic diversification, but also towards meeting the 2030 targets.
To me, that if we are able to achieve self-sufficiency in Nigeria, we have been able to solve the hunger problem largely in Africa, because of the size of Nigeria because of the enormity of the problems we have in Nigeria.
We talk about climate change.
As the government achieved this, agriculturists emphasized the need for collective efforts to end food wastages, improved market and processing of produce.
And to make rice production in Nigeria sustainable.
In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
You're still watching Nationwide. The news will continue after this break, so stay with us.
The time has come again when we all gather at the Unity Forum to celebrate the uniqueness of our cultural diversity and showcase the beauty of our cultural creativity and ingenuity. It's the National Festival of Arts and Culture, NAFEST, in the Garden City of Port Harcourt, Rivers State. Come, let's celebrate our culture and heritage. Hold it 20th to 27th October 2018. Special features, dance drama, traditional wrestling, indigenous textiles and cuisine, arts and crafts exhibition, entrepreneurship roundtable, skills acquisition, and many more. 20th to 27th October 2018. Be a part of history. It's NAFEST Rivers 2018, the festival that unites the nation. Otumba Olusegun Runshewe, DG National Council for Arts and Culture, announcer.
Fake news which is shared for malicious purposes is a danger to our peace and security in Nigeria. Misinformation as fake news is a serious threat to our hard-earned democracy and promotes hatred and misunderstanding between our communities. We are all responsible for stopping the spread of fake news in its tracks. So, always check the source and credibility of any news item. Say no to fake news. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information.
Join us every Saturday by 10 p.m. for Eye on the Road.
The program from the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FEMA.
We'll bring you highlights of policies and programs on road maintenance. You'll hear from road users as well as those charged with maintaining the roads.
It's interactive, it's informative, it's educative.
It's Eye on the Road, showing Saturdays at 10 p.m.
Zuma Film Festival 2018 Abuja. Theme, Archiving for Creativity. Date, December 1st to 7th, 2018. Featuring film screenings, masterclasses, special tributes, NFC Annual Film Lecture, NFC Annual Essay Competition Awards, special national and state days, Lifetime Achievement Awards, and Zuma Film Festival 2018 Awards. Submission of entries for non-competition, competition and screening is ongoing and closes September 30th, 2018. All entries should be forwarded to the festival director, Zuma Film Festival Nigerian Film Corporation, headquarters in Jos, and or its zonal offices in Abia, Lagos, Kano, Asaba, Yola, and Abuja, or through the Film Freeway online platform, www.filmfreeway.com. For further inquiries, call 0033146842, 08052728321, or 08063390420, or visit the website www.zumafilmfest.gov.ng. Zuma Film Festival 2018, December 1st to 7th, Abuja, Nigerians' foremost film festival.
Yeah, Modena. Do you have amala? Yes. And amala? Yes, sir. Black or white? Yamala. Have I ever eaten white amala here before? Yes, sir. Give me amala and amala. Do you have dodo? Dodo ground. Good. Let me have some dodo. I want you to put the meat in a bowl. Shaki, suku, abodi. I like my edo to be very tender. You have stockfish? Yes, sir. Good. Let's have some stockfish. And the catfish, my favorite. Don't mind them. You have eggs. I would like 6 boiled eggs. No eggs. Okay, the catfish will do. And then rice. Rice and then some salad. Look. Do you have a kuru?
Benin Network Center. Ubehi, it's over to you.
Thank you, Rhoda, for joining us in Benin. Edo State government is to spend 6 billion naira to rehabilitate and provide instructional materials to over 612 public primary schools in the state. Governor Godwin Obaseki stated this at the official inauguration of 7,000 primary school teachers trained on the use of ICT devices and proper management of classrooms for technological advancement. Good luck, Inaini. Reports.
Journey towards revamping the basic education subsector began 5 months ago with the training of 1,500 teachers in the pilot phase of the Edo Basic Education Sector Transformation Edo-Best initiative. Few months after, over 5,000 teachers successfully completed training in tech-based teaching methods, amongst other training exercises that the teachers' professional development programs entails. The teachers are now fully equipped with capacity in instructional technology, with each having their individual computers or smartphones with which they access daily lessons and also take attendance from the central support system.
As a digital teacher, I'm so proud. This Edo-Best program is wholesome in its totality.
Governor Godwin Obaseki disclosed that the initiative has received the support of President Muhammadu Buhari, stressing that in the next 6 months, all public primary schools in the state will be transformed.
We'll have one college of education with 3 campuses. One of the campuses, the one in Abuja, will be dedicated to training basic and early childhood teachers.
Officials from the Universal Basic Education Board, UBEC, Nigerian Union of Teachers, Bridge International Academies, hailed the governor for the initiative. The event climaxed with the governor announcing an award of 1 million naira and a saloon car to Mrs. Noragbon Inogie, who emerged the best teacher in the South-South.
In Benin, I am Goodluck Inaini, NTA News.
From education now to security. 4 kidnapped suspects are in police net, telling officers their level of involvement in some kidnap cases they are handling. Deputy Commissioner of Police Administration, Edo State Command, DCP Mohammed Danjuma, paraded the suspects before newsmen in Benin. Judah Wike reports.
The Deputy Commissioner of Police says the suspects operate under the pretense of rendering intra-city bus services in kidnapping and rape.
On the 9th of 10th, 2019 at about 1900 hours, acting on credible intelligence and reliable information, the anti-kidnapping unit of the command arrested 4 daredevil kidnappers.
The command also rescued 3 victims. Among them are 300-level business administration students of the Ambrose Ali University, Ekpoma.
I was tortured. They took 500,000 from my friend. They took my ATM and withdraw all my money, 300,000 naira.
The suspects speak on their level of involvement.
So they give us 2 of us 25,000.
But we yes, they won't pay 500,000.
Now, yeah, make all the year, if I'm going to make a letter. Even the money will cause quarrel.
In any organization, there must be upper hands there. That one is for sure. But normally, we not plan it kidnapping due to the condition I found myself. That's why I'm involved in it.
Also in custody of the police are 10 suspected cultists who robbed a hotel in the city.
Then my friend called me and said, "Court is the fight." I don't know, say they want to go thief for China.
I don't know anyone for these people. Now me and that guy will go buy and smoke more, smoke like police table laws. I don't even know the steady side.
Oh, no, man, you know, but I get the robber gun. I mean, never know see they want to go rob before me.
The command says there's no hiding place for criminals. In Benin, Ogochukuka Ona, NTA News.
Ogochukuka